Hey NAI football fans, Cory Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIAFBALL podcast powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, guys, at this point, we have made our way through most of the off season, and we are now chatting with the folks who made it to Durham. Tonight, we start off with Grandview head coach Joe Woodley. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Well, doing great, Cory. We got a little Florida weather here today. I've been out watching softball. I got three daughters and watching them all weekend do their thing. And I think it was 50, 54, 55 degrees yesterday, and just got out of my truck. It was about 94 on my temperature deal in my truck. So yeah, Iowa, we just can't get it right weather-wise. But nonetheless, other than that, doing good, man. Good to be here. And like I mentioned to you before we got on, I've been listening to most of these and just so appreciative of what you do and appreciative of all the other coaches as well, making our product national product. And obviously you're helping us do that. So again, appreciate you having me and look forward to visiting with you.
Well, Coach, it's our pleasure, and thank you for coming on. Just taking a look back real quick at the season that was in 2021. Looking back in that Week 0 game against Central Methodist, um, counting them, obviously, there were 4 teams on your schedule that either made it to the playoffs or were ranked in the top 25 at the time of the game. Talk to me about uh, that schedule and how that sets you up for playoff success.
Yeah, no, that game, that opener we had, I knew that was going to be um, a scary game, just because I think they've done a heck of a job down there at Central Methodist, and Coach Callaway's, he's really built that thing from the ground up, and I know they were pretty veteran heavy last year when we played them, and I think they're losing a handful of guys. I guess who knows anymore with the COVID year and all that, but just on paper, I knew they had a lot of seniors heading into that game, and I felt very fortunate to get out of there with a win, even though it was at home. And I remember mentioning to oh, I can't remember which coach I mentioned it to on the south side of our league, but he had just asked me what he had thought of everybody because they were getting ready to play the south side because we play all the south teams first and then the north, being in the north. So I just told him, I said, man, Central Methodist was certainly all around. I thought the most talented team that we had played in the South Side, and of course that came to fruition. And they made the playoffs and had a heck of a run, heck of a first round game. I know up there against Northwestern, and it's tip of the cap to them. And then our league just kind of all the way through every year is a battle, and I just think there's a lot of good coaches in this league. And you had mentioned the ranked teams that we played, and you always got to start with Baker and Benedictine on that side of the league, and of course I think Mid Americans getting much better. Evangel, I've always had a lot of respect for them, and of course Missouri Valley's a historic program, and and then on our side you've got kind of some upstart teams. I think kind of the surprise team last year a little bit was Peru State, probably one of the better defenses I thought we saw. I've seen in a long time at this level, and I've been around 14, 15 years, and uh, just awfully impressed with the personnel that they had. Because of course they didn't play. I think they may have played a couple games in 2020, so we weren't real familiar with it. And I think they kind of surprised some teams with with what they had personnel wise, and especially over on the defensive side of the ball. And then of course, Culver Stockton, William Penn, those are, just some, you know, we've always had tough games with those programs, and but we were able to make it through. We dealt with a lot of injuries a year ago, and not that everybody else doesn't deal with the same things, but we dealt with it in some places that it's hard to create a lot of depth at this level, and that's up front. But it's a credit to our players, our coaches, fighting through all those things. And by the time we got to the playoffs, for the most part, we were healthy, even though we had lost some, I thought, some really good skilled players early on in the year with, Jensen and Avery Gates not being able to play. And of course, Brandon Martin, who was a really good player for us in 2020. We lost all those. We lost Avery before the season even started. Jensen about fifth, sixth game of the year, and Brandon, we lost him after the fourth game of the year. So it'd have been nice to have all the pieces down the stretch. But I also realized nobody's super healthy. But when you have those kind of difference makers, you're hoping they're there down the stretch. We didn't have them, but all in all, we had guys step up, and just certainly proud of getting to where we got to last year. Of course, there's disappointment of how it ended, but man, the journey was sure fun, and getting an opportunity to go down to play at Lindsey Wilson in the semis, and play that ball game there, and find a way to win that at the end was certainly a little bit of feather in our guys' cap, and of course the other two playoff games leading up to that. So it was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to the opportunity. A little time off, I think, is been well earned. We played 18 games, in 2020, 2021, however you want to look at it. It's been a long year. It's been a long year, and then you kind of get right into spring ball, and we had such terrible weather here in the state of Iowa. We don't have an indoor facility. Plus, we practice early in the morning, so it made it even worse. So we got a lot of work done. Probably could have used maybe a little bit more, but at the end of the day, we got out of there extremely healthy. Probably the healthiest we've ever been coming out of spring practice. So um, uh, just looking forward to the summer. Our guys are on break right now. They got done with school last week, and we'll resume summer workouts here starting in June. And our interest level with our kids staying on campus is at an all-time high. I think we're up to about 67 guys that are staying on campus to work out this summer. And I think those are the kind of the hidden things that can kind of create an edge for a program. And there's an all-time high of buy-in right now, because I think our guys are pretty hungry, and especially with how the last few seasons have ended. So just looking forward to it. Looking forward to, already miss them. Looking forward to getting them back, and kind of getting going with the summer, and then getting into camp in August.
Well, one of your key pieces there, especially against when you talk about against Lindsey Wilson, that I think may have caught Lindsey a little bit off guard, was Johnny Sullivan. I mean, in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs, he was mid 200s in yardage, and you were playing your very Grandview game with a lot of very run heavy offense. You come out against Lindsey Wilson, and Sullivan's chucking it around the lot. So talk about your offense coming back, obviously headlined there by Johnny Sullivan coming back for one last run, joining the backfield by the duo of Hill and Scott. Talk about what you got coming back, and what excites you about this offense.
Yeah, I'd made mention, Cory, that Johnny was probably our best recruit of the offseason, and because he's already darn near got his master's degree finished. He's been here a little bit, but he's going to utilize that sixth year. I think he's just a special kid, ultra competitive, and like I mentioned, I think just kind of how last year ended, just left a kind of a bad taste in his mouth, and he just wants to keep playing. You only get to play this game so long, and and I think he decided, because we do have some pieces coming back that, that I think, where we can be special, and he wanted to be a part of that. And so very excited about him on the offensive side. And We lost a couple offensive linemen, but I feel like we've uh, handled some of those needs within recruiting, and even something we're still working on a couple guys here this summer that I feel really good about. And then we got underclassmen that have kind of waited their turn, and it's crazy. Sometimes freshman to sophomore, they flip a switch, and they become a different football player. And those are the things we're going to try to accomplish this summer with those guys. And then the running backs. I think Ali really kind of burst onto the scene last year, and didn't play much the year before. He was working through some things, with us, and kind of working into our good graces, so to speak. And he has, and real proud of him. And he's a terrific kid, and he's a hell of a football player. And I thought he had a great year, and he plays a real physical style, and certainly got enough speed to make a play, down the field. And then we've just got some steady guys behind him. You mentioned Casey Hill. I know I had previously mentioned Avery Gates that didn't get to play, and he played as a true freshman in 2020. So we've certainly got some guys we feel good about at running back. And Arthur Braden's a guy that's he's been in our program, knows what we're doing, and we've certainly got some other guys that are ready to step in, because that running back, we're for the most part by committee. I think Ali handled a lot of it down the stretch, but to get through a season, I think you got to be a little bit by committee to keep guys fresh, and because they certainly take a lot of hits. But and then out of receiver, I know I had made mention of Brandon Martin earlier. He's able to get that year back, at least to our knowledge as of this point. Um, so we're excited about getting Brandon back. I mean, he's a special player that we had in 2020, and like I said, the injury affected him early on, but feel good about him. But I think another couple guys that really showed themselves, especially down the stretch in the semis and national championship, all throughout the playoffs. Gerald Sama, number one. Gerald Sama's a local kid from here in Des Moines, and he certainly played his best football down the stretch, and a lot of big plays. I think we scored on the third play of the game against Lindsey Wilson down there, and he it was an 80-yard touchdown. We were backed up, and we were able to make something happen there with Gerald. And then Seth Jewell played really well, especially in the national title game. He played well in the Lindsey Wilson game. Yeah, he's a freshman on paper, so feel good about him, and another kid from Des Moines. But and then like I said, we just got a number of guys. Nate Wilcoxon, kind of our tight end type player. Another kid from the Des Moines area that we're awful excited about his future. Carson Rollinger, another kid that I think he had six third down catches in the playoffs for first downs, and he was Cole's brother. Cole was a safety for us that is no longer. He graduated, and Carson's kind of been a guy that waited his turn. Waited till he. I mean, shoot, he's a junior, and he didn't start playing probably getting significant minutes till probably second half of the year last year. So just real proud of him and his growth, and just his determination, patience, all those things. So feel pretty good about the receiving core, and I think Johnny does too. And I know he spends an awful lot of time with those guys. So pretty excited about what we are bringing back on offense. A couple holes in that offensive line, and but we'll figure it out just like we always have.
Holes that you've got to fill defensively, whether that be at your linebacker spot with Whelan and Buffelli, um, that are leaving you, or you already mentioned Cole Rollinger, David Tolentino at corner, Cam Maxfield at your defensive end position. You've got a lot of holes that you're going to have to fill on your defense. Talk to me about how you're going to get that next man up.
Yeah, you certainly mentioned some guys that wish I had back, but I think I say that every year, and guys just kind of step up and fill in, and I feel like we've done a good job of that over the years. And the good thing, I don't want to say it was a good thing, but you mentioned Nate Whelan. He was a first team All American in 2020, and Nate missed about 6 games a year ago, which allowed us to get a true freshman on the field, a kid by the name of Nate Ewell. He's a Waterloo West kid. Waterloo's here in Iowa, and he's a kid. Frankly, I feel like we kind of stole in the recruiting process. I was a little surprised that that he was available and willing, to be very honest. And he really burst on the scene. I think he was one of the guys that every coach, that I would visit with before the games, like, man, where did this guy come from? And he certainly solidified himself as kind of our next Mike linebacker, which Nate Wheeland was. And we're super excited about him. We've got another kid that's bumping in at our other linebacker spot. That another kid that's kind of waited his turn. Another local kid, and just and that's what you like to see, the development within the program, and especially guys that kind of wait their turn. You're going to get their best shot. So. Feel good about the linebacker position. Kyler Kluge's he's an outside linebacker for us. He'll be back again. Played a lot of football for us. Um, actually, it's Johnny's cousin, one of our defensive ends, Rocky Schoenfelder, and Rocky, he's one of our best football players all around. Just very physical, tough, mean. Motor never stops, and just real excited about Rocky here moving forward. I mean, he started 15 games a year ago, and I think he's going to be even better this year. He's added some strength and some size. So Kylie Mosley has been a 2-year starter for us at defensive tackle. Um, feel good about it. Feel great about him, to be perfectly honest. I think he may have even had a sack in the national title game, if my mind serves me correctly. So, and then we were able to bring in a transfer defensive tackle that we feel good about, as well as a kid that played for us a lot last year, played a lot in the national title game as a true freshman, Aaron Brown. He's from a powerhouse down in Houston, Galena Park, North Shore. I think they've won 5 or 6 of the last national or state championships down there, and it's not easy to play as a true freshman, especially on the defensive line. And he stepped in and played really good football for us. So feel good about him coming back. And then secondary wise, we lost Cole. I think Cole might have been a second team All American a year ago, and but there's guys there that are ready to step up. It's a battle right now at one of the spots. And you mentioned Gianni at the other safety spot. Gianni played a great football, all year last year, and he by trade he's a corner, but we moved him to safety, and he took it to another level last fall. And I think he may have even had an interception or fumble recovery or something in that national title game. So, really good football player. Again, he's another player from Houston, Texas, at Katy High School, which is another powerhouse down there. So, Gianni's going into his 4th year, so he's played a lot of winning football for us, and so we feel pretty good about what's back there. And both of our corners that started, may not have started the national title game, but one of them did. Felix King started, and then DJ Luckett actually I know he had an interception in the championship game. So we feel good about those corners that we've got. We've got some younger guys that are stepping up, and we brought in, I don't know, probably 6 transfers total for all positions at semester time, and I don't think we missed on a single one. So they're going to provide us some depth at all the spots that we felt needed to be addressed. So, I again, you never know until you see the product going, but we do have a lot of guys on both sides of the football that have played a lot of winning football, played in some big games, and those are the types of things that matters. When you kick off that first game of the year, there's that confidence and poise and all the things you're looking for, and our guys, I feel good about where we're at in that regard.
So one thing that you mentioned earlier was playing Evangel. Well, Evangel is, not too much longer for the Heart at this point, moving out to the KCAC in, I believe, 23. And you bring in to kind of replace them, Missouri Baptist there, formerly of the MSFA. I think this is like the biggest moving around of teams that I've seen since we started covering this. Talk to me about the changes there to the heart and how that's going to impact y'all's level of play.
Yeah, first and foremost, other than the the length of the trip down to Evangel, I'll certainly miss playing against them, and I've got an awful lot of respect for uh, Coach Heppola down there. He's done a really good job. That guy has been a coach a long time, and in Evangel when we first started playing them in this league. They're nowhere near, with where he has them right now. They are competitive in every game. They play a full 60 minutes. They grind it out. They shorten the game. They're great on special teams. So, I'll miss that strategic part of playing against them. I certainly won't miss and I know not many people are feeling sorry for me on here because I know what some road trips are like in the NAIA, but that one down to Evangel, I think it's approaching 6 hours. So I know that's nothing to some folks, but that's the only thing I'm not going to miss about them. But I think they've been a great member of this league, and again, I just got a lot of respect for the way they play and how they coach, and so I'll miss them in that regard. And to be very honest, I'm not very familiar with Missouri Baptist. We were in the mid states, from whatever 2009 to 2014, I believe it was, and we never played them. So don't really know much about them. I think they're down in the St. Louis area, so we swap. That St. Louis isn't quite 6 hours, so it's a little closer. So we just swap a little bit, about an hour there. So, but they seem to make sense for the league on paper. Other than that, again, I haven't read too much into them. I'm probably dig into them a little bit more this off season, trying to get familiar with them and what they're all about. But yeah, I think it'll be good. I just like the fact that we found somebody to replace them, and we stay at that even number. I really like how our schedule is set up in this league. You play everybody on the South, you get a bye week, and then you play your kind of true conference side, and it's pretty darn good setup. I know a lot of coaches out there at this level have a hard time scheduling games, and so I certainly appreciate how our league is set up. That's one less headache I have as a head coach is to try and find a game. So, but I'm excited to say the least. So that'll be good.
So if you listen to our podcast this year, you kind of know what my final question is going to be. It's kind of been the same for everybody. But how does Grandview, being in a bigger city in Iowa, uh, might have some of those that might be a pro or a con for you. But how does Grandview connect with alumni, both athletic and just your fan alumni, to create that ongoing support both on the field on game day and then off the field to get the facilities and the investment that an athletic department needs?
Yeah, no, I've heard you ask that question, and I don't. The thing about our alumni, Grandview didn't have football until 2008, so there's not a big base like a lot of these schools out there. But believe me, it's something that is extremely important to us. And the neat thing is I've been here for every single football player that's been through this program. So certainly, and I stay in touch with all those guys, and we've got some things in place. We've got one of our part-time coaches that really helps out in that. I got a full-time coach that's assigned to keeping that connection. We have events throughout the year where we get together with them. There's things we do during the season, after games, the night before games. I'm more interested in reconnecting with former players. The fan participation and things like I just don't know that we've been around long enough to be perfectly honest. And but I know we have a marketing and alumni relations group on campus, and I know they do their part as far as reaching out to folks. But we probably do a lot of the same things these other schools are trying to do. Probably, we don't have 40 assistant coaches like they do at the Division I level, where that's like their only job. So, we pick and choose those moments where we get to work on that type of stuff. And I think it makes it a little more special when you do it. So, um, yeah, it's something we're constantly working on, something we're trying to create better ideas for. And hopefully we get to a point, you mentioned something with facilities, and I think that day's coming for us. Our school just purchased 20 acres of land just north of campus. They haven't determined exactly what's going to be there. I'm using my imagination. I guess I'm hopeful in that regard. It's something that, I think this school is, I think they know they need, our facilities have been, we share with a school, a high school, and, sometimes, and it's been a great relationship, but I do know, just like any coach on here, we all want something to kind of call our own, and everybody, especially in the state of Iowa, you want an indoor facility, and you got to be, there's always things in your mind that you feel like can make your job better and all that. But I do know, I know Grandview's a great place. It's a great job. We're in a great location. There's a lot of things that sell itself here, but I'm certainly excited to see what's on the horizon. That's for sure.
Well, Coach, thanks again for coming on the show tonight. Looking forward to watching what the Heart has to offer next season, and we're getting to the end of these. I think next week I'm going to have on the flag football national champion, leaving in a couple days from when this will, or the next day from when this will come out, heading up to Atlanta to go watch that, and then hopefully get Steve Ryan on, and then it's downhill from there with previews of divisions, and we're gonna get some helmet thudding and some pad hitting around here pretty
Yeah,
soon.
you bet. I'm looking forward to it. And again, Cory, thanks for everything and everything that you do. I know I mentioned on the last time we talked how it was good to finally meet you down in Durham, and it just shows a lot of effort on your part, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for the rest of the coaches, players. Just a tip of the cap to you, man. We appreciate everything you do, and hopefully you're here to stay with us. And if there's ever anything we can do to kind of keep this going, just let us know. And I'm sure most coaches would get on board with trying to figure out some way to keep this going. So again, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIF Ball Podcast presented by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. Thanks also to Mommy Bay Turf and Turf Nation, as well as Leading Edge Fundraising for their support of the podcast. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the podcast as well as to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIAFBALL and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.